but it's out there. It's taking over. Wherever you look, it's in front of you practically. It's white privilege, for God's sakes. AhhFuGGiT spurts.
AhhFuGGiT! Oh, fuck! Dang. I told you.
Say, ow!
¿Qué le pasa a este hombre ahora, viejo? What's wrong?
Listen, white privilege of all things, besides existing as it is right now in our faces, in our lives, wherever you look, for God's sakes, it's even trickling over to Europe, apparently. Because, or I guess you could call it either ethnic white privilege or off-white privilege. It's made its way to Poland, of all places. Because, listen, I'm a fan of Poland. I'm a fan of the women out in Poland. They're nice to look at. They're great to look at. They're great to indulge in visually, vaginally, of course, if they're willing and such too. If you make it out there, I'm sure it's a lovely land full of even more lovelier women. And I'm sure, if not Russia, they were sending over the mail-order brides from Poland to any willing simp, paying up front, of course, over here stateside. But out in Poland, apparently, we got a bunch of dumb fucks buying into this white privilege thing, taking over the world, slowly but surely now, to the point where I can understand a Polish woman. Maybe she wants to aspire to be. Not all. I'm just saying there might be some out there who want to aspire to be a mail-order bride, meaning they have an appearance to uphold, meaning they have to look a certain way and be appealing enough to the simp who's going to be paying for them to fucking be, FedExed, overnight shipped, or cargo shipped, whatever, imported, as long as that takes to be here. So with that being said, they might have in their mind they gotta be slim, they gotta be cute, they gotta be perky in the tits, they gotta be not dumpy in the ass, so they can't necessarily indulge into something like we would here in the good old US of A as far as a croissant's concerned. Cause there's one bitch out here, dumb bitch, believing in off-white privilege, tossed a perfectly good croissant out a window so she wouldn't be fat. She wouldn't contribute to the caloric intake to her physical form. Chucked it clean out the window. It lands on the fucking tree. Apparently, she might have been already woozy-doozy from not eating, not having nutrients, as a lot of women do. They'll deprive themselves of food for the sake of, I'm fat, and they're really not. You can barely pinch as much in my, face fat here in my cheeks compared to, her waistline, whatever. But still, if you can grab anything, she's fat in her head. Chucks a perfectly good croissant out the window. It lands there on the branch, apparently. Lands perfectly still. I think she might have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar'd it. Maybe hooked it over her fucking head. It landed there, and she didn't even bother to look back where it landed. She just assumed it was out the window, out of my life, off my waistline. So she left it alone. A couple of weeks pass. She looks out the window. She looks daily. There's a thing, apparently, allegedly, in the tree looking back at her. It's watching her. It's observing her. It's harassing her by just existing and looking in her direction, conveniently enough. She tries to call out to it, get out of the tree, whatever they got to do to, get its attention to leave. It doesn't leave. She ends up calling the authorities because they're not police in Europe. They're authorities over in Poland, of all places. She does that. They come. They get into the tree, see what the fuck's going on. They pull out a fucking croissant. The same croissant she threw out the window. And she didn't even bother to, throw in the garbage properly. Because maybe she was one of those, dumpster divers. Or she would have pulled, a Seinfeld where George Costanza pulled the eclair half-eaten. One bite, two bites taken out of it. Out of the garbage thing. And ate it still. I don't know. She might have been fearful enough of doing that. Maybe she was taking in enough American culture to understand the Seinfeld reference and then saw that and said, well, I don't want to be that fat bitch to do that. So she did so. So apparently white privilege is not just taking over here. It's, it got its passport stamp. It's got its, everything too stamped, and it's been shipped overseas. Off-white privilege is taken over, not just over there in Poland of all places. But on top of that now here, you got collegiate professors who do nothing but study bones, meaning specifically pertaining to animals that don't even exist now, to even have a properly formed opinion on. But take it or leave it, you got a Professor Bonehead here who's too worried about knowing, allegedly, because of his academic studies and such, how dinosaurs were fucking out here based off, simply put, bone structure, or finding a whole pile of bones wherever they dig them up, excavation sites and such, all of a sudden now, Professor Bonehead here, he knows allegedly, according to him, it's in the news, it's been in Twitter too, that at some point in time in our, well, before we existed, but, you know, the cavemen, all them, at some point in time on this planet, there were at least 20,000 T-Rexes roaming the fucking earth. 20,000 of them. As big as they are, as klutzy, as, schlubby as they were, and, minute in the arms and such, running around here crazy. And that's solely off of his research. Charles Marshall, University of California. So, of course, he's baked, especially today when I'm doing this, 420. Of course, he's baked, literally from the sun, and, of course, literally as well as light one up, dog. Shout out to RVD. He knows what I'm talking about, 420. No one gets higher than him, allegedly. But yeah, Bonehead here, Professor Bonehead, excuse me. He's worried about how dinosaurs were fucking based off looking at their bones, all laid out, propped out, sprawled out as best as he can in front of him. Knows like how big a T-Rex's dick was. He knows he was doing it from the back, so they were apparently all in the doggy style. Or I think that's normally how animals do it, right? So, yeah, doggy style per se. He knows that, and assuming based off of that, he's like, oh yeah, easily. 20,000 existed at the same time. They were running around here, running the streets crazy, whatnot too. But okay, that's based off what? That's based off what? And how are you, a professor at a college like the University of California, of all things, Museum of Paleontology director, to be specific, and spewing that bullshit here? Where's your proof? Did you find, have we found at this point, up until now, 20,000 bones of T-Rexes to even be like, yeah, there were this many that we've found so far, but because of our calculations, allegations based off of science, purely, and assumptions, because we got nothing better to do but count on our fucking toes and fingers how many dinosaurs existed of one kind at one time. This is how many existed. And science don't dispute it, though, nothing, whatever. We barely got that fucking moving object up on Mars, and they were jumping up and down for joy, which is something to be happy about, because now we're on Mars, of all places, soon enough. And shout out to Elon Musk. He still can't land a fucking rocket ship properly, based off his own dime, which sucks even more, harder, because it sucks, but you're paid to suck. Or you paid to suck and let the world know it, because you can't stick the landing, but you can procreate, make another life, and name them after the Dewey Decimal System. That's a point aside. Professor Bonehead, what's the matter with you? Have you been taking or partaking too much in that 420? Past, present, future, and looking forward to next year already, because you're already smoked out. And I can't trust a fucking professor. I'll try to show a clip here if I can. I can't trust a professor who's going to fucking do a Zoom interview. I respect Zoom. I don't love the quality, the sound, the video, whatever. But I can't respect it if your Zoom background, of all things, is a desert plain with a sunny blue sky in the background, because if you're going to be a fucking professor, I would think at home, where you're most likely stuck at, like Californians are because of the pandemic, you would have at least a bookshelf behind you. A library in your home, per se. No. He does a Zoom green screen background of a desert plain with blue skies, where he probably spends, or his head is stuck up in most of the time in the fucking clouds, to be talking all that shit about 20,000 T-Rexes at the same time. Yeah, all right, please. There would have been no cavemen. There were 20,000 T-Rexes because of how big they are and fast they are and carnivorous and man-eating, whatever the fuck they were too. Bullshit. I'm calling that. And of all days, 420 today, I don't partake. I don't celebrate. But shout outs to you out there if you do, if that's your thing, if that's how you, obtain your stress relief from whatever goes on in life. I do this by grabbing a microphone and like spewing and bitching and ranting as loud as I can, permitted, within the confined space of where I live too, to do so. Shout out to you on 420. But I want to move on to the next day after 421, which this year for 2021, that just rhymed by coincidence. I'm not trying to be cannabis or Keith Murray out here. For the sake of 421-21, April 21st, it'll mark 5 years since the passing of this guy right here on my shirt, Prince. Rest in peace, Prince, of course. If you can see, it's just doves crying in the purple rain with the guy next to him, which is like a thinly mustached, penciled in practically caricature of Prince. So shout out to Prince as always. 5 years since his passing as of when this will drop, 421. Sad to see, sad to remember. Unfortunately, that did happen. So we're stuck with that, knowing that one less musical genius and heavy presence amongst us regular people who were nowhere near as musically gifted as he was ain't here with us no more for the 5th straight year now. I don't like remembering the death anniversaries. I'm not big on that. But I did want to touch loosely on the fact that in homage here, at least in New York, I don't know what they were doing anywhere else, is that they used to play Purple Rain in the theaters on 421, which they did up until I think the first or second year since his passing. Third year, I think they just forgot it, or they played it in New Jersey, so they got that treat. But then again, living in New Jersey has perks, allegedly. Taxes and, easily getting flooded in during rain season or around this time this year. But obviously last year they couldn't do it, no theaters open anywhere. So this year they're not doing it again. And I understand because, they got more bigger things to worry about, literally, with fucking Godzilla Kong sucking on a big, huge screen in every theater available near you. I did a review on that. Check that out, please, if you can, on my YouTube. And also you got Mortal Kombat dropping from a couple of days now, too. The remake, the reboot from 1995 and such, which should be good. At least it's rated R. So it should be nice and bloody and gory and everything else too involved. But shout out to Prince. To close out this episode with, since this is a micro time compressed for the sake of putting it in the zip file and send it to fucking, Bosnia, wherever they got to get it from. Because they can't, they still have dial-up out there somewhere on the farm with the goats and such. I would have loved to have been shitted on by Prince, of all people, if I had to pick and choose. Because I would have loved to dream scenario it, basically. Been stuck in the studio, big-ass mixer board, be it in his estate, out in Minnesota, or wherever he probably touched down on if he felt like recording at any given point in time, at the drop of a dime, whatever. Be there in front of a fucking big-ass mixer board. He's straining to look up at me, and I'm straining to look back down at him. We're both developing calluses and calcium buildup on our necks over time because of, the awkward angles we have to look at each other from and at. But we're in front of a large-ass mixer board, and I'm just, reaching out there to try to touch the fucking knob on wherever, just assuming, pretending I know some shit, which I don't, by the way. I barely know how to fucking tweak my balls to stop them from itching, but, I'm going to work a fucking knob like I work some nipples. You got to blow on them, by the way, to make them work like that, but still. So I'm reaching out to touch the knob in this dream scenario, right? And then of all things, his fucking hand comes out and just slaps the fuck out of me and says, "You goddamn fucking idiot. Don't you touch a fucking thing on this thing. Do you know who I am?" And then I answer, "Yes, of course, you're Prince." And it's like, "Exactly, bitch. Stop fucking looking at me so funny. Get your stupid, bald, shiny head up out of here. Shove it up your ass or shove it up whoever's ass is immediately available, because I'll tell you where to put it. As far as the sun don't shine anywhere on that chrome dome of yours, because you know how many fucking instruments I know, and I taught myself and everything too, and you're going to come in here start tweaking knobs. I'm the only one here turning things around or tweaking if need be, for the sake of sound reproduction, or for the sake of a pretty-ass female, a bad bitch I keep at my side while he was alive, of course, for that sake of reproduction too. Ask me, I'm the OG here. I'm Prince." And then, leave it at that. Then he would have died at some point too. Hopefully much later than he did actually pass. But then that's just me dreaming out loud. I would have loved to have been shitted on by Prince. Not in the sense of a Cleveland steamer, but more in the sense of proverbially just to diminish me as an individual. A consenting adult to the shitting on, of course. That's what I'm saying. But either way, that would have been pretty cool. I would have loved that. Shout outs to Michael too. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson also, obviously. But I'm more of a Prince boy. Obviously, if you couldn't tell by now. But yeah. We did it. Another episode done in the history books. Not according to Dr. Bonehead here. Professor Bonehead, excuse me. He's not a doctor. I hope not. Him with his fucking T-Rex theory about as shitty as my asshole is, given it's Taco Tuesday when I'm recording this too, and it's 420, so I might indulge. Shh, don't tell nobody. Well, yeah, we can do it illegally here now in New York, right? I have to get the finer details on that, but give or take whatever. It's a free world. It's so free that the dumb fucks are taking advantage in Europe of white privilege over here.
Dude! Bro! Dude! Bro! Dude! Dude!
Oh, fuck it. Spurts. Who this? Check out the YouTube. YouTube.com/whodissis1. Twitch.tv/whodissis1 for who this been gaming. Bad gaming, shit talking, me overall, in my purest and finest essence possible every Saturday, 1:30 p.m. live on Twitch, as well as Fridays live 7 p.m. here on IG, on Instagram, my page, @whodissis1. Friday, 7 p.m., who this been watching? Movie recap/review podcast done live for IG first. So, of course, the uncut, uncensored, uncircumcised edition you get first live, and a couple days later up on the YouTube and then all podcasts and platforms of your choice. More importantly, AhhFuGGiT Spurts, because I'm doing it for you. If you happen to agree with me and when I've been crying, ranting, bitching, moaning, getting befuddled about, let me know in the comments. Share this shit. Send it to whoever you got to send it to. Please.
Yo, it's over. All right, it's over. It's over. Move the mic. Move the mic.
Thank you.
All right.